Should anglers and fans keep quiet or speak out? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the vlog. If you're new, my name is Steve Chapman. This is a part 2, and I made the other video private just to keep it real. There was some things I said that just are ridiculous. Not that I don't think that they're not true, but to each his own. But should anglers feel free to speak up, and fans too, and speak out? Or should we just keep quiet? Now, you have to remember, right now in this industry, things are going crazy. Fishing is exploding in our youth for high school and college anglers. We're seeing high school kids get college scholarships for fishing, which was something unheard of when I went to high school. And we have an option as a fan to watch different organizations because of how we feel. If you completely dislike forward-facing sonar, you might not watch the elites and watch the NPFL. Or there might be someone on the NPFL or Major League Fishing or the elites that you don't like and you just don't watch. We have that option right now. That's the beauty of what's going on right now in this industry. You can choose from 3 different leagues and organizations that have 3 different formats and follow and live vicariously through those anglers. So having a place that we want to watch the fishing it's never happened. And we have more tournaments and more online live bass fishing than ever. I mean, it is weekly that we get something that we can watch, even from Major League Fishing, from the elites, from the NPFL, from the ABT, who does live stuff, to One Bass. There is so much professional fishing out there that the market almost is oversaturated with fishing. And there's always going to be drama. As much as I hate being reminded or even said, Steve, you bring up drama. Drama is what people watch. I don't try to start it. I just try to cover it. I try to cover all news stories and then also stories that I come up with. I'm never trying to stir the pot. If I wanted to stir the pot, I just call out people and just bash them. And I don't do that. Though I should, because there's a lot of loudmouth people. And not everybody is brutally honest. But these days, with the amount of fishing that's out there, and the anglers, especially in the elites, unhappy with how management has dealt with things over the last couple of years, there's more disdain for the organizations than ever. More than when Major League Fishing and Bass had to split 6 or 7 years ago. And it's not just people inside the organizations or the fans. It's even content creators who talk about positivity and negativity. Yet they're going to talk about how positive they want everything to be, but then throw somebody under the bus in the same sentence. Or have a topic that's very controversial and talk about the negative stuff within the industry. And really, it's what gets clicks. It's what people watch. And we're all trying to do our best as content creators, but we need to realize that we do have an influence on certain things. And a lot of people said in the first video, Steve, if you worked at this place, don't you think you would get in trouble if you spoke out about the things you didn't like? You're 100% correct. If you speak out at your business about something you like or dislike, you will have repercussions for it. But how many people pay to go to their job? How many of you pay a fee to go into work and then work for those days and are not guaranteed that you're going to make money back? That's the difference between an angler and a regular guy that's doing a job. And people aren't recognizing that. And if you spend $6,000 or you spend $1,000 or you spend $5,000 to get into an organization to fish in really what is a high stakes gambling, you're gambling on yourself to make money. But you're putting that money in, but you're not allowed to speak out. That's the major difference. That's the topic that people aren't talking about. And I do agree that if you say something horrible, that you should be fined There's a possibility that by you saying something that you'll be kicked out of the league altogether. Look at James Watson. As much as I agree and still will stand by it, I don't agree with what he said, but I really don't agree that he was kicked out. I think you can give him a fine and then that's it. But when you kick him out and that's his job, there's something wrong there. And we're hearing about other anglers that are having this same issue, that they might have said something behind the scenes or whatever it was. And then they get questioned on why they're saying it. And then maybe even going so far as saying, we might kick you out. I talked about this in another video, or this same video in part 1, about how there was a group of anglers, there's 4, that in general won't talk to me. And I had someone comment saying, oh, it's not that that you're being blacklisted, it's because you're a joke. The problem is it's only 4 anglers. And really 2 of the 4 got a hold of me after that video. And there's going to be people that think I'm not good, or a clown as I've been called, or a phony, or a nobody, or I'm being laughed at. I don't agree with that. I get on here, try to create a vlog, create my own topics that I think the fans are asking. Maybe not all the time. I can't hit home runs on every video. That's the truth. I try my best. I work damn hard at what I do. But I try to speak up and speak out for the anglers, because the anglers are actually talking to media and other people. Not to mention, so are some inside sources of bass. And I can understand bass and Major League Fishing and NPFL and any other organization trying to keep whatever's said in-house. I understand. It's the way of things, the way things have happened for 20 plus years. But after time, those things start to build up. And when they build up so much, there's a split. And we are in a state right now where bass just seems to be building this giant hole for themselves. And they're trying to dig themselves out. And they've solved a lot of problems, but they still have the core issues that the anglers aren't happy with. And they keep trying to dig themselves out of that hole, and the hole just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And at the same time, the anglers are getting more pissed off. They're tired of doing things this way. And when there's nobody listening to them, and bass and other organizations are making up their minds without knowing what the anglers want, the anglers continue to stay pissed off. And they should be allowed to speak up and speak out, but they need to do it professionally. And they need to do it right, instead of just coming out and blasting people. Because we can get back to where it was good, but it's going to take a lot to get there. There needs to be trust. There needs to be transparency. And there needs to be change. Something that fans and anglers and corporations don't do enough of. And they don't like to do. And if you're a paying customer for a product, you should be allowed to speak up, but you have to do it right. And there's going to be lots of people that agree and disagree, and I respect that. I appreciate that. That's why I make the videos. The videos are made so that we can have an open conversation about what's going on in the industry. And some of you guys take it a little too far. Some of you guys are completely negative, and it's hard to read. And it's hard to respond to, because you get, like me, you're emotional about what's going on. But we need to take a step back and not be so emotional and think about what's going on and why it's happening. Why we're seeing the same thing happen from 7 years ago when Major League Fishing made the split that's happening right now. And it might not be a split like MLF and the BBT and Major League and the Elites, but it could be a split where anglers move over to the MPFL or they start looking at the invitationals. And we have to be open and honest and upfront with what's going on. But I do believe the anglers should be able to speak up. And so should fans. And they should listen to the anglers and the fans, because our viewership is just as important as the anglers fishing in the league. Because if we're not watching it, who's going to sponsor them? Viewership is key. Now, I don't think they should just run out and make every change we all say, because some of the changes that we've said over the years is batshit crazy. But there needs to be change. How much? That's another topic. Now, should anglers be able to speak up and speak out? Like, look at Matt Herron. Very honest, very upfront. Has his opinions. Now he's not fishing the elites. He's fishing MPFL. On what he believed was his truths. And Matt's always been a very good dude. Very honest, very trustworthy. But is his opinion, shouldn't they have listened to him? Comment below and tell me what you think. Am I right, wrong? Am I crazy? Yes. But I really want to hear your opinion. So comment below and tell me what you think. But keep it. There's a couple of you guys, to be honest, there's a couple that I'm really close to just going, I'm not going to listen to anymore. It's all negative. And I'm not the one here talking positivity at all, even though I wish we were a little bit more positive. But some of you guys are really breaking my balls a little bit too much. And I'm taking it a little bit personal because of things that are going on in life. And I don't want to, and I don't mean to. But comment below and tell me what you think. I really would appreciate it. Thanks for speaking up and speaking out. I really like that. That's what we're here for. We're here to have an open conversation. Just sometimes it's a little weird conversation. But if you are part of the now only 66.3% of the people who watch this channel and are not a subscriber, you should click that button. Welcome to the team. I really do appreciate it. It's quick, easy, and it's free. All you gotta do is hit that button and you're part of the team and family. Remember, take a kid fishing, tight line steers, and get your fish on.